Hello there, people of the world. Welcome to today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. This video today is going to be a little hard for me to make because, as a lot of you probably know, I've announced a few separate times, I'm in the middle of one of the biggest transitions of my life, and I think I went into it originally a little bit overconfident, thinking, oh, it's totally fine, like, I can do this, I'm not scared, change, bring it on. And now I'm literally 4 days away from leaving my Los Angeles chapter behind and starting something totally new. I was actually watching a video recently, the video that I was talking about moving to LA, and I was 19, I was bleach blonde, and it's insane how much LA has changed me. When I was 19, I moved here. I slept on my sister's couch. I was just stoked on what famous person I was gonna run into on the street. I wanted to go to Hollywood for the sake of, like, oh, I can tell people I'm in Hollywood. I wanted to go to Beverly Hills so I could see what movie star I would run into. I was obsessed with cold pressed juice and organic this and vegan that, and what are the LA people doing, and the Instagram posts, the social media, what kind of job am I gonna get? And I probably had a similar mind going into moving to LA like a lot of people do when they first come here, because that's what LA's seen as. I didn't know why I was in LA, I just knew that I was here, and I knew that there was gonna be a purpose for me being here, whether that was training dolphins, working behind the scenes music industry, being a filmmaker, being a tour manager. Now I'm leaving LA, I'm 21, I hate Hollywood, I'll avoid going there at all costs. I only go to Beverly Hills, ironically, for church, and I would not drop $9 on kale juice if it's the last thing that I buy. It wasn't perfect, it was so messy. I made a lot of mistakes. I got hurt. I got my heart broken. This is the place that I learned what love is. This is the place that I learned what grace meant, what grace feels like, how to give grace, how to love people, how to forgive people. It's where I learned what matters to me, what I care about. This is the city where I learned what vulnerability actually means and how hard and scary it actually is to be that. It's scary because you never know what kind of response you're gonna get. You never know if you're actually gonna be taken care of or cared about, but it's so important to do, because if you're not doing it, if people aren't doing it, no one's gonna, and everyone's gonna go around pretending to be okay. And that's another thing that I learned out here, is that it is okay to not be okay. I used to not be able to cry, and now I love crying, because when I'm crying about something, it means that I'm really affected and I'm really feeling for something, whether that's something happy or something sad. Emotions are a good thing. Last night I just had to say my goodbyes to my Christ Life group. I've talked about Christ Life a few different times in different videos, and what's so funny is that the first time I was gonna pick up and move to Nashville was right before I started Christ Life back in last August, I think. And when I prayed about it, Jesus was like, not yet. I didn't know why. I thought, oh, it's community because I'm making all these new friends right now, and it was so cool because it was after he said not yet that I started my first phase 1 of Christ Life, and Christ Life is where me and 4 other amazing women sat around and shared every detail week by week about our lives. We would write letters to ourselves from like 0 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 8, middle school, high school, literally everything. These women knew everything about me, everything I had done, everything I had been through, and they loved me regardless. They represented such a healthy family by supporting me in my mess and loving me in my mess, and they taught me that it's okay to cry. They taught me that emotions are a good thing. LA, man, wow. It taught me how absolutely terrifying it is to have a negative bank account balance while living in one of the most expensive cities in the world. It taught me about how embarrassing that is, how vulnerable that is to talk about, and through that it taught me how to rely on Jesus to take care of me. Money's a hard topic. If we're not careful, we end up depending on it for security, for comfort, for identity. And when you live in one of the most expensive cities and you can't afford to buy groceries and you don't really know if you're gonna be able to pay your rent, that's a scary place to be in. That being said, LA also taught me how to budget my money. And it taught me that drinking 5+ large venti cups of coffee a day is probably not a good idea. But to be really honest with you, LA taught me that I actually have no idea what I'm doing. I don't think really anybody does. We're all out here, or wherever you are, doing the best that we can, but no one has this life figured out. Everyone struggles. My sister taught me that one of the most special things that you can say to someone and hear when you're going through a hard time is, "Me too." There's power in that. There's power in knowing that we don't know what we're doing, but we're doing it together. To sum all of this up, the most important thing that living in LA taught me is how important people are. It's how much we need people in our lives. It's how terrible the idea of doing life alone actually is. The relationships that you build are what gets you through life. They're what feeds your soul. They're what you need to survive in this world. And it's not about who you're gonna call to produce your next record or manage your next tour or who you're gonna collab with next week. It's about who you're gonna call at 2 in the morning when you feel like your world is falling apart and you need a shoulder to cry on, in and out, and just someone to tell you that everything's gonna be okay. So yes, I do believe that I found myself in LA. And I feel like if you take anyone out of their comfort zone, put them somewhere that they don't know and they have to figure it out, they're gonna find themselves too. Moving here was the greatest thing I think I could have ever done. This is where I needed to be. This is where I needed to grow, where I needed to figure my crap out. I'm saying bye to a huge chapter of my life, to the place that really made me me. But it's okay, because change is good. And I mean that. I'm excited for what's next. So I'm going into this next season. I'm gonna pack up my car again. I'm gonna drive to Nashville and I'm gonna see what's over there. And I'm so excited. And I can't wait to share that journey with you guys. So if you don't follow me already, please go follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't really put this in at the end, but I really want to share my journey with you and I want to hear about your journey. So please go add me on the social medias so we can be a part of each other's lives. Okay guys, well I hope you have a great rest of your week and I will see you next time. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. If you enjoyed our conversation today and want to keep talking, we're going to be continuing this chat over on my Patreon page, where you can get to by clicking that box on the side of the screen or the link in the description box below that says join my family. You guys, that page is really, really important to me because that's where I run this ministry. That's where the community aspect of this, the things that matter, the sharing, the vulnerability, the stories, that's where all that happens, guys. So if you want to support me and be a part of my journey, my ministry, my family, go click those links and that's where that can happen. And that's also where you can find out how to help give a hand in rescuing children from poverty all over the world. All that's explained over on that page. So go click that and I will see you next time. Okay, love you guys.